This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Matt, so I'm a little embarrassed about the guest we have on today's show because this is something that, honestly, we should have been offering our clients for a long, long time. And
You're embarrassed that you haven't been offering this?
I didn't even know this existed. And I would argue most agents don't know that this exists. Because most of the time there's certain inspections we get when we perform, when we're buying a house and we're leading our clients through that, or even pre-inspections before we put the home on the market. But today's guest, I did not even know existed until maybe 3 weeks ago. And so today on the show, we have Erin Clark with Rocklin Solar Repair. Thanks for being on the show, Erin.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. And so what is it you do?
Yes,
because I'm super embarrassed. I did not know that you even existed.
Rocklin Solar Repair. I would assume you repair solar panels.
You'd think,
no?
But there's more to them. There's more.
Yeah, it started as that. So yeah, my name's Erin Clark. I'm the owner of Rocklin Solar Repair. Been doing this 20 years. Started in the solar industry in 2005, and I'm a licensed general contractor, licensed solar contractor, and the company started as a repair company. But I saw this void in the industry, in the real estate industry, for getting inspections done on solar systems. And now I'm mostly solar inspections. I specifically specialize working with realtors during real estate transactions.
Wow. And so why did you see this void? Why did you this void is I'm surprised there's not 1,000 people out here doing this, because there are so many houses with solar on them. And why are more people I don't know what the solar output is on my property. I don't even know how to check it. But you are what area? Let's do this. What area do you cover? Are you super specific to Rocklin, or do you cover a wider area than that?
I cover a pretty wide territory. I was in Placerville yesterday, heading out to Auburn later today, and I was in Vacaville 2 weeks ago. So it's a pretty big territory.
Okay.
But there's a lot of confusion around solar, and I think that's why people don't know where to start.
Yep.
A lot of agents don't know where to start. Homeowners who own systems don't know how well their systems are doing. And so there's this mystery, and there's clearly a need for somebody to help sort of shepherd these buyers and sellers through the process.
Absolutely. So when you say there's mystery, or you say shepherd them through the process, can you give us an example of something? I think you were telling me about somebody bought a house with solar installed. They thought it was working and it wasn't.
I get that. Almost every home, not quite, and so
completely not working, or something of a piece of it not working.
It's all of it in between. I've been to homes, and I'm there to do the inspection, and the system's been off for 3 years.
Off for 3 years.
Off, not working for 3 years. So I had a homeowner who moved in. They hadn't lived in that home before, so they didn't know exactly what to expect as far as how much the utility bill would be.
Yeah.
So when the bills were coming in at $500 a month, I thought, gosh, it probably would have been $900. Thank goodness I have solar.
Oh, man. Little did they know.
It had never been working the entire time they had lived there.
Crazy.
So you say, how are you able to go in and determine how long the system hasn't been working?
So I'm certified in almost every solar inverter. So I'm an authorized and certified tech for most of it. So I'm going to actually dig in. I'm going to pull the data out of the inverter to the day it was installed and see, is it actually meeting its estimated production? And I assign a percentage on the inspection report. Hey, it might be 10 years old, but it's been doing great. It's produced exactly what it should have at year 10. Mm-hmm. And so I'll put a rating. Hey, it's about 100% of where it should be. Yesterday's inspection, it's only a year old, and it's only at about 70%. It is absolutely not performing as it should have.
Wow. So what would cause that?
So usually it's a panel or two or three or more that aren't working. And a couple of times I've seen where they just didn't hook them up on the roof. They're up there, then they weren't hooked up.
You're kidding.
Or they've already failed. Or the homeowner was told, hey, it's going to produce X amount, and you're going to save $400 a month, and half the panels were installed on the north roof, and so it's not producing anywhere near what it should. And so that's then in the report. So there's three main things that you're covering in a solar inspection. Number one, how well was it installed? And I find 8 out of 10 systems have minor to major issues.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. It's not 1 out of 10. 8 out of 10 have some issue. So number 1 is, how well is it installed? Number 2, is it actually working as it should? And a lot of times, solar, once you look at the phone app for the first month or two, it kind of like the romance sort of falls away with that.
Yeah.
And because it does the same thing every day.
Right.
And so what happens a lot of times, a system will have an error happen. It'll stop producing for some reason, and the homeowner doesn't know because they haven't been checking the app. And so I'll run into that. So second part is, how well is it producing? And I'll tell them exactly that. And third, which when I started this company, I didn't think I'd be spending as much time here. Little did I know, this is where I spend a bulk of the time, helping buyers get educated on what they bought and get the system transferred into their name. This is what happens if you're not hiring a solar inspector. You buy the house, you move in, and then the homeowner spends 6-7 hours at night Googling, what did I buy?
Right.
How do I, what phone app? There's 20 phone apps.
Yeah.
How do I get the account into my name? Does it have a warranty? How do I transfer the warranty into my name? So rather than have your buyer spend 6-7 hours Googling, walking out in the garage, looking at the equipment, trying to guess at what they have, all of that is documented in the report. So let them move in and do all the fun stuff as a new homeowner. I'll get them teed up for success on the solar side.
That's just crazy to me. So when you talk about quality, like what is it, quality of the install, what exactly do you typically find that was installed incorrectly? Because I would think that would be a no-brainer. Like, you bolt the panels down, you hook them up to an inverter, you're done.
So here's where I see most of the issues is on the roof, and I'll tell you why. Building inspectors typically don't get on roofs. So this is not a knock on building inspectors. Some roofs are steep and dangerous and tile roofs. And so I've run into building inspectors who, they care. They want to do a good job inspecting, but they don't get on tile roofs. Tile roofs can break. And so solar crews, I'm not saying are malicious. They know they can cut corners on the roof because nobody is checking. So you can have a system that was approved, stamped by the building department, approved, and now the system's good to go. And I find this almost every home, solar panels not bolted down. It's a 50-pound piece of glass and metal on the roof, and it's sitting up there not bolted. I've even seen jobs where they brought the bolts up, and they're sitting on the roof right next to the solar panel.
They were close.
They got them up there, and they just left them in a pile. And I see that almost every home.
So when you go up there, you're like lifting the solar panels to make sure they're properly bolted down?
Correct.
Okay, so you check all of them, and then what else? What else do you check in terms of quality?
And again, another thing that I'll end up finding on the roof is poorly sealed junction boxes. So where the wires are making the connections, they didn't waterproof it, and now water's sitting in a junction box on the roof. I mean, this is electricity. Solar is one of the most dangerous construction jobs. You're on a roof playing with electricity. And so now you've got this junction box on the roof where these connections are made, and they didn't waterproof it, and it's filled with water, and the system shorts out. So just some sloppy or shortcuts on the roof. That's where I see a lot of the issues. And then the other time I see a lot of issues is the inverter just failed. The inverter is 5 or 6 years old and had a problem and failed, and nobody knew and just kept moving along, and the bills got high, and systems get transferred. If you don't get a solar inspection, you're just transferring that broken system into your name. Yeah. So it could be anywhere on the from the roof to the ground where I'm going to find problems.
Got it. That's typically where we have found issues as real estate agents, is with the inverter.
Yeah.
Like, that's the more common one. But I just can't believe that people are not bolting these things down.
Oh, it's one of the easiest things to miss, because you might have 40, 50 bolts on the roof that you've got to, these clamps to hold panels down that they'll miss. And here's another one that I've run into. Oh, Erin, gosh, I don't think I need an inspection. I was in the garage and the green light on the inverter is green, so it's good to go, right?
Yeah.
Well, there are inverters that if the light is flashing green, that means it's not working.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so green doesn't necessarily mean good.
That's what it's like on my TV remote. If it's blinking green, I need to change the batteries.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, so there's a couple inverter comes down like, really, why wouldn't you make the light red? The flashing green is not
more
good.
obvious. Yeah. So you've run across solar systems that aren't working, or that not working to their capacity. But sometimes it's not even, and this is what I think is great about your company, is it's not necessarily the mechanics of what's going on, but it's also like in the paperwork. because you review lease stocks, right?
I do. So, a good portion of systems are leased. And that's where I find another sort of roadblock or stumbling block or hurdle is, okay, is this even a good lease? Should I assume the lease? How many years are left on it? What was the escalator? Escalators increasing lease payment every month. Mm-hmm. And so when I first started inspecting a few years ago, I've been in the solar industry for 20 years, but I've been specifically focused on real estate inspections for the last couple of years. I didn't realize how much lease document review is going to be happening. And by the way, I'm not an attorney. I'm a really good solar inspector.
Throw that disclaimer out there.
Yeah, I'm not an attorney. But what I do is I see lease documents 2-3 times a day. And so I'm pretty good at helping evaluate how much you're going to save, and is this something that you even should get transferred? Because look, if there's 15 years left and it was priced badly to begin with, I'll give you an example. Okay, if you want to go lease a car, and you lease a Toyota Corolla. I've owned a Toyota Corolla, by the way, great car. And the lease payment's $300 a month. Okay, great. I'm going to get a new Toyota Corolla. It's $300 a month. Well, would you want to lease that same Toyota Corolla at $1,300 a month? No. Probably not. Same with the solar system. Leasing's not bad if it's priced properly. And so I'm going to help and look at it because I've got so many comparables to say, yeah, this is a really good lease. It's competitive. You're going to save a lot of money. Or, ooh, boy, it's really high. It's only slightly below what you'd be paying the utility anyway.
Okay.
Plus, it's got an escalator. The payment's going to increase at 3% a year. So those are things that I can help the realtor and then the buyer sort of navigate during that process.
And you mentioned also sometimes in those lease documents, it says one system was installed, and that is not what is on the roof, right? Like you can verify the number of panels and things like that.
Yeah, so this happens more often than you would think, and I was hoping. And again, I don't think it's any maliciousness on anyone's part. This just happened yesterday. I was at an inspection, and the lease documents said there were 27 panels. Well, there's 24 installed on the roof.
Crazy.
So here's what my assumption happened. During the sales process, they were looking at a couple of different sizes. Hey, your lease payment's going to be this. If we put 27 on, their lease payment's going to be this. So somehow there was confusion. The homeowner signed the one for the higher payment with more panels. That's not what was installed. So this homeowner who's now selling her home has been paying a higher payment. Well, no buyer is going to want to assume this lease. They're not going to say, oh, great, they installed the less equipment, a smaller system, but no problem. I'm going to sign up for that 18 years left on this payment for the wrong price. So now this sale is going to be delayed by 30 days at least. You're going to have to call the leasing company. They're going to have to verify that it's wrong. I mean, my report does that. So it's all photo documented with videos. So they're going to send my report on to the leasing company. Now the leasing company's got to go back and say, uh-oh, who messed up where? How do we resolve this? This isn't getting fixed next week. Yeah. And it's already pending. This home is already pending.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about specifically how to avoid these types of issues, because the last thing you want is to have a buyer that's interested, motivated, ready to purchase your home, and then have this delayed out 30 plus days.
So we're finding that a lot of folks love this idea where if you're not quite ready to put your home on the market, but you're thinking about it, you're considering it, maybe sometime this year or in the next 12 months, reach out to Johnny Jennings. That's what a lot of people are doing, and his team at Made for More Realty. They come over to your house, you schedule an appointment, and they give your home a once-over. They check the exterior, the roof, the backyard, the decks, the pool, the interior, the kitchen, the bathrooms, the living room, the bedrooms, and they give you an honest report of what they feel your home is worth without repairs, and some ideas, some suggestions of which repairs you might want to consider getting done before you finally decide to put your home on the market. This is a free of charge service. You just reach out to them, schedule an appointment, and they'll take some time to come out to your house and just give you some good information that you're going to find very beneficial, so you're in the know, no surprises surprises when it comes to selling your home. That's what makes them the best in our area, why they were voted #1 team in Roseville for the past 3 years, why they have almost 1,000 5-star Google reviews. That's Johnny Jennings and his team at Made for More Realty. All you got to do is Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.